While all this was happening, Mike was at the hospital completing his task. Dr. Geoffrey Jarvis was due on duty in 5 minutes. He had a bad headache from a few drinks early in the afternoon, but he'd come to believe recently another drink was the only way to get rid of the headache and help him to concentrate on another long shift in the maternity ward. Some people might call him an alcoholic, but to do so, they would need to know how much he drank. And because his job depended on it, Dr. Jarvis made sure that nobody knew how much he drank. A couple of recent near mistakes had been easy to cover, but he was sure the mistakes were nothing to do with the drinks, just bad luck. Dr. Jarvis also put down to bad luck that as he came through the main entrance to the hospital, a glass bottle had happened to roll in front of him, and even worse luck, he had trodden on it. This had caused him to fall over and twist his knee. He would later claim that it was a run of bad luck that one of the doctors in the accident and emergency department had noticed the smell of alcohol on his breath. Dr. Jarvis would not have called it bad luck if he could have seen what Mike was doing. Mike had been the one to push the bottle just in front of him as he walked through the door. It was also Mike that had tickled Dr. Jarvis' throat, causing him to cough right in the face of the doctor treating him. Given the circumstances, it would have been impossible for the doctor to not realise that Dr. Jarvis had been drinking. Sister Jakes on the maternity ward thought it really lucky that Dr. Jarvis had not made it in and that Dr. Giles was able to stay on late. She had noticed recently that Dr. Jarvis had not been his usual quick-thinking self. A few difficult situations had been close to becoming major problems when he had not noticed some important signs. Sister Jakes saw it as a gift from heaven that Dr. Giles was working late as Jane had come in. And with Dr. Jarvis not turning up, Dr. Giles had stepped straight into the gap. He had realised immediately this would be a breech birth and straight away made the call for an emergency caesarean section. This piece of good luck had almost certainly saved the baby's life. Sagan was sitting in the corner of the hospital room. Unlike Sister Jakes, he was not pleased about this piece of good luck. He kept asking himself, what had gone wrong with a perfect plan? The physical problems were there with the pregnancy. The alcoholic doctor was supposed to be on duty. With Dr. Jarvis on duty, they were guaranteed at least some brain damage and at best death. How was he going to explain this to the battalion? That upstart Rannick, he's always looking for ways to get promoted and at anyone's expense, and this looked like a gift for him. Jane was waking up slowly. The sister waited until Jane was fully awake before handing her the baby she'd been waiting for. Jane held her baby for the first time and felt an overwhelming love for this helpless but beautifully formed baby in her arms. Jane looked at him and said what she thought was to herself, but in reality was out loud. I will love you and protect you. I will give you all the chances I never had. Sister Jakes, not quite hearing, asked her, what name are you giving him? Spike, replied Jane without thinking. Then she stopped, looked at him. Nah, he don't look like a Spike. His name's David. If Sagan could have seen a look of satisfaction on Mike's face at this point, he would have been even more upset. He may also have realised that there was something special about this boy, David. If he had realised the damage that David would do, at first to his inner city battalion, but even more worryingly to many battalions across the world, he would have been looking for any way to end David's life. Fortunately for David, nobody in Sagan's battalion had any idea of the problems to come, and he was safe. For now. Sister Jakes, not realising all that was happening in the spiritual world, was confused as to why Jane should change her mind about the baby's name, so asked the obvious question, why David?